What is going on, everyone? We are here for week 12 of the GT4 Fixed Track Guide series. This week we're at Spa. Same as always, we're in the Merc AMG GT4. We'll give you a walkthrough lap as always, and then fire into a hot lap at the end of the video. So this is the last one of the season, and then we will be doing a week's break, and then we'll be looking at to see what you guys would like to see us do for season 3 of iRacing's build, but we'll talk about that later on anyway. So we'll kick off down into turn 1. So it's a bit of a tricky sort of braking zone because it kind of baits you in, and the way the track sort of drops in a little bit and then cambers in, it's quite easy to outdo your markers. So I kind of find here that it's better to brake a little bit earlier to make sure you get that rotation in and stop to from running wide on the exit, getting an off track, or inviting somebody down the inside. So it's a bit of a unique. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's a bit of a unique spot. So obviously your 100-meter board is just a little bit further up. You're looking at about 115-ish roughly for your brake marker. Now, there's the pit wall, and then there's like the pit fence alongside of it. There's a little gap in the fence between the last two panels. I brake between the last gap in the panel and the last fence, so in that range before the 100-meter board. And then I go as close to the edge of the road as possible, back to second gear, and I turn in at the start of these like tyre wall barriers on the left hand side just here. So I sort of like it's not an early turn in, but it's, if you can see sort of where I've got the car placed now, as soon as I start to rotate that car, I'm going to miss the start of the curb, but I'm actually going to end up nice and close to the wall on the curb right through this point here. So then as I get off, as soon as I'm in line with that Allianz board, I can straighten the wheel and carry all that throttle out of the corner and get a really good drive. So second gear out of there, up through the gears, fourth, fifth gear. So as you're coming down in fifth gear, you turn in at the flagpole, cut across the curb here, and then you want to start rotating the car back straight away. Fifth gear, it's a little bit of a lift when you get to about this point here, just to make sure the nose is in. And then once you've got the nose to that curb, you can sort of carry it straight across from that point there. Use all the curb here, and then you'll get a much smoother run out. It's all about your entry up the hill. You've got to make sure you're as far to the left as possible as you turn in to make sure you carry that momentum up the hill. Down the straight, start to set yourself up on the left-hand side again. Fifth gear again. You'll get to 6 in a draft, but just on a hot lap, you'll just hold 5th. You want to use the start of the curb as your brake marker, right? So 5th gear, back to 3rd. So 3rd gear as you come into the braking marker into the corner. Turn in at the end of the curb. Get 2 wheels up on the curb. And then what you want to kind of do is you kind of want to sacrifice a little bit of mid-corner here, just a tiny bit, so you get back on the curb for this part of the corner. But then as you come off of here, you want to stay as close to the left-hand side as possible. The further to the right you go, the harder it's going to be for you to turn the car back across to the left to set yourself up for the right. So sacrificing a little bit of exit speed to then really maximize through this next little bit. So same again here. You want to turn the car in early. I turn it in just before the escape road. It's probably about a metre before. And when I turn the car in, 3rd gear, 2 wheels up on the curb, and let the car track right out over the back of the curb. Use all that track and then head it down the hill. 3rd gear, stay in 3rd. Brake at the start of the curb on the left-hand side. Diagonal the car in, so you want to sort of double apex. So come in at the curb, back to 2nd, let the car track out about 3 foot. That's all it is. You sort of want to be in line with that marshal post at the mid corner. If you're in that sort of space, you're in a good spot, because as soon as you get to that point, you start to rotate the car back at the corner. Clip the curb again on the way out. Let the car track to the edge of the road, and then set yourself up at this point here. Now, there's no brake marker here. This is really a feel corner. It's all about how much momentum you can flow into the corner and feel confident with, and also the sheer grip limit of the car holds. You can drive in there quite quick, but there's a good chance you're either going to run really wide on the exit, or as you rotate the car, the rear is going to chase you around, or you're just going to push. So you've got to sort of balance it quite a bit. I find rolling in and then getting to the apex and then picking the throttle up aggressively is a better port of call. But like I said, there's no marker really. It's all about just finding that threshold. I would say I'm about 50 to 60 meters before the end of the curb on the right hand side, but without going and measuring it in car lengths, it would take ages to work it out for you guys. So get as close to the curb as possible. Be careful not to grab the curb too much. You don't really want to be over the curb, because it picks the car up and it sort of spits it off as you come off of it. But you want to be as close to it as possible. The car's going to slide all the way to the edge of the road. You want to put no more than half a car over the curb. So as long as your left-hand tyres are still inside that white line, you're fine. You won't get the off track. Run it down the hill. You'll get to 5th. Now, this one's a bit unique. So there's the gap in the fence with the 2 red bollards. If I just go like this, you'll see the 2 red bollards just in front of the right-hand side mirror on the fence line. So between that and the traffic light is your brake marker. Obviously, depending on amount of fuel, cold tyres, if it's a quality lap, if you're in traffic, there's a whole pile of different things, right? I'm more conservative in here because I know how easy it is to loop the car out or carry too much speed in and have an issue. So I prefer a more conservative line, a little bit more reduced on entry in and then drive out of the corner. But in saying that, when I'm on a quality lap, I'm a much closer marker to the traffic lights as well. So the traffic lights probably just a smidge too risky in a race. But in a quality, definitely you want to be pushing for that marker to really drive the car into the corner. And then all you want to do is 5th gear, back to 4th, rotate in at the end of the curb on the right hand side, get the car as close to the curb as possible. The car's going to push wide, use all the curb, then start to turn the car back immediately. You want to get as close to this curb as possible. And then same here, you don't want to hit this outside curb, but you want to just get right to it. Then carry it down. 5th gear, brake at the Allianz sign, back to 3rd gear. There's no real turning point there. But I kind of use the marker as when the green sort of cement starts, that's when I start to turn the car in. 2 wheels up on the curb here, and sacrifice a little bit of exit speed, so you're sort of more to the right hand side, to then turn the car back. Run it off the back of the curb. 4th gear, brake at the start of the curb, back to 3rd, turn the car in 3rd, up on the curb. As soon as you get to the apex, pick the throttle up. The car's going to slide right out to about this point here, and then carry it through. Slight little lift. It's a little lift. And even it's more that confidence lift on cold tyres. Once the car's got a bit of heat in the tyre, you won't even have to lift. You'll be able to hold it flat through there as long as you get to that inside apex. And then once you get to that inside apex, the car's going to slide right out to the edge of the road, but you'll be able to use all that track and then carry the speed up through all the gears. I set myself up on the right. Under the DHL bridge, I start to turn left. Shortcut that bit, then let the car run wide. It's a lift into the corner. get the car to the apex, and then pick the throttle up again, let it drift right out to the curb, set yourself up on the right-hand side here, under the Bridgestone Bridge. You're looking for the white line across the track. Big brake pressure, back to second gear, set yourself up on the left-hand side. You kind of diagonal the car in at the corner from the braking marker. It gives you a little bit more brake margin, but it also then sets yourself up because you've come across the track on a nice, like, sort of, not an aggressive diagonal, just a nice shallow approach across to the edge of the road. And then once you get to the edge of the road, you turn the car back at the corner, second gear, two wheels on the inside, on the right hand side of the curb. Don't hit the sausage curb, and you want to set yourself up so you're more to the right as you exit the corner, so then you can really turn the car in early, get on the curb, square the car up as quick as possible, and punch it out of the corner. And there you go, guys. That is your walkthrough lap of Spa in the GT4 car. Good luck for your week of racing. We'll give you a hot lap, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. That, guys, is a lap of Spa in the GT4 car. Good luck for your week of racing.